button here. Alrighty, so tonight we are joined by Mr. David Lawrence of MECA, Michigan Elite Conditioning for Athletes, as well as now Poliquin Group Education. Dave has an extensive experience in strength and conditioning, personal training, nutrition, all things fitness related. Like many of the people who are probably watching this, he has been mentored by the same person many of us have, Mr. Charles Poliquin, aka the Strength Sensei. So tonight we are going to be, in essence, kind of grilling Dave Lawrence. I previously talked to him before about how he works with athletes in football and how he kind of runs the shop over at MECA. And he's had some new developments, and that he has now assumed a new position, that of the head of Poliquin Group Global International Education. Now we're going to be...
Hey, stop.
Oh, no, we're
Come and say
we're
hi.
on cameos. As one of his sons joins us for a cameo. So
Hi.
Hi.
It's Dominic. Oh my
Good.
gosh. You guys are supposed to be in bed.
I know.
You get to say hi too. Here, say hi, Charles.
Hi.
This is Charles.
oh, what's he got in his hand? A Capri Sun?
I have no idea. Yes. You guys, Mom bought them. It's not good.
It's
Go-
juice.
Yeah, get out of here. You guys go to bed. You guys were put to bed a half hour ago. Go to bed. Your brother will get it for you. Go to bed. My gosh. It's a good start right there.
It's a perfect start. So Dave, how about first you kind of explain to everybody how you got into now being the head of education for Poliquin Group?
Oh man, it's a bit of a story, but basically for me, I think there's a big gap in education right now. And as many of us we were the beneficiaries of Poliquin education when we were coming up. So my first job was at the Poliquin Performance Center in Chicago. I had a bunch of great mentors, but the foundation of my development as a strength coach was really PICP level 1 and level 2, and the different continuing education like Biosignature and different things like that. And right now, there's just such a gap in what's being provided, and that's where basically I wanted to see if I could come in and fill in the gap, and not really myself, but we'd put together like a really good team in our business that when I started talking to everybody at Poliquin, Caroline and Janelle, they have an amazing team over there. And our team at MECA was really going to be a good fit for what they wanted to do and the way they wanted to take it forward. And there's a lot of ideas that I have that I think we need to do. And so there was basically quite a few series of conversations. And so it's pretty cool. So we're gonna roll out education quite heavily this year. There should be around, by the end of the year, there'll be between 45 and 60 days of in-person education, somewhere in there, and it's all going to be in the back half of this year. So they're really, really cool.
So as most people are familiar when it comes to Poliquin Group, or the previous name, Poliquin Strength Institute, is the PICP, the Poliquin International Certification Program, and Biosignature. Those were the big two. But also some of the things that many people became familiar with before were the boot camps, special considerations such as the Biosignature 2 special consideration continuing education courses. There was also PIMPS, just off the top of my head. There also, just before I got into the industry, there was a yearly or biannual Biosig conference that I believe the last one was in Las Vegas in 2012, if my memory serves correct tonight.
They had one in Boston in 13 or 14, I think, too. So that I went to. That was great. That was really good. So, yeah.
So just for a little background as well here, is back in 2000, prior to 2013, Charles Poliquin was with Poliquin Group, Poliquin Strength Institute, and in 2013, shit happens and he started a new business called Strength Sensei. So since then, many people have become accustomed to that. And there's also been the PICP stuff. In my opinion, PICP has always been kind of the best foundational information you get. Level 1 and level 2, there's nothing that can really compare to any of that. What would your opinion on that be yourself, Dave?
In terms of PICP?
Yeah, in terms of PICP, in regards to foundational information, foundational knowledge.
Yeah, it's the basis. The Poliquin International Certification Program, or PICP, especially level 1 and level 2, are the foundation of understanding how to evaluate an athlete and improve their overall athletic ability. So in the strength and conditioning world, one of the biggest mistakes that Charles kind of really broke the barrier on was, if one strength coach, everybody's doing this kind of training program or this kind of training plan. Well, one of my favorite things he would say is, we're training athletes, not robots. And so what he did a great job is understanding how to assess and how to individualize the training process. And that was absolutely brilliant. In PICP level 1 is the upper body component, and level 2 is the lower body component. So when you put those together, you have like a really good understanding of how to assess, and then how to use proper exercise selection. And what we're going to add is a comprehensive program design that hasn't been released before. And it's really, really cool. And we're going to release this because this is stuff that I always thought Charles should have taught, is a comprehensive program design off of structural balance. And this is how he always trained his athletes, but it was never really taught in PICP 1 or 2 or 3. And so we're going to add a massive program design component to it. So it's really, really cool. And that should be a big game changer in the next few years for a lot of athletes. And I'm really excited about that. So, and that's something that I paid Charles a ton of money in private consults for. I would do a consult with him every 6 months. And basically it was always program design related questions. So that's something that we want to make sure that everybody has access to that information and that knowledge that was so brilliant. And that's one of the reasons why I've been really had been good enough to have fortunate success as a strength coach, is improving strength very, very fast and in speed off of the structural balance and understanding program design and what to use. So that's what we really want all coaches to understand and to know. So.
All right. So you mentioned a level 3, but historically there's levels 1 through 5. So how about just a quick little breakdown of what the hell PICP level 1 and 2 you went through, but 3, 4, and 5 mean, what's required for them, how they can differentiate and kind of set you apart from the pack in terms of coaching?
Yeah, so level 1 and level 2 are you get the certification by, you have to pass a pretty comprehensive test. It's a 50-question test, and then you have to pass basically an in-person a practical, like hands-on practical. That's pretty stringent. It's really cool the way Charles set it up. Actually, Mike Beistel, who I worked for at the Poliquin Performance Center in Chicago, was the first one to take his PICP level 1. And there was 13 people that Mike said took it, and 12 of them failed. Charles failed 12 of them and made him pay to retake the test. So he was really about it. And I think as things evolved, he was a little bit more lenient, not with his standards, but maybe allowing people to retake the test in the class. They didn't have to, fly back to like Montreal or wherever he was hosting it at the time. Yeah, he was incredible. So when he mellowed out a little bit at the end there. So no, that's a good story. But so level 1 is like an upper body structural balance assessment, and then they go over like all the muscle groups and how they work, and exercise selection. And then level 2 is the same thing, but how to assess the lower body, and then understanding exercise selection. there's other things in there too. I mean, it's quite comprehensive, but I'm just giving you the broad strokes. Level 3, we're gonna just add some other components to it as well, but like energy systems, Olympic weightlifting. And when to get a level 3, you have to produce some results with an athlete at a national or international level. And then level 4, you have to produce. Level 4 is there's more things that you learn. Level 3, there's nutrition, but level 4, there's more different tasks that you have to complete or learn, and there's more standards that you have to complete. So it's really cool. And currently right now, there's no level 5 course. We're looking at including and making a level 5 course. So, which would be quite good. So, and the other thing that we're looking at adding, not this year, but next year, is a business stream, is teaching coaches the fundamentals and the basics of starting and running a business. And we have so many coaches that are just such great people and they're so skilled, but it's very hard to, because you put so much energy into training people, and it's so much effort and energy, and that's where your mental focus is really giving to other people. And sometimes in order to grow it and to provide a better service, it's a completely different skill set. And so we want to teach people how they can get support and how to improve that skill set in running a business. So that will be another thing that we add in next year. Not this year, but next year too. So we really want to provide more comprehensive education for coaches. So the PICP biosignature modulation, we're going to have 3 biosigs, level 1, and then level 2 and level 3. And those will be really good, and they'll all work off each other. And then we're going to have a program design component that will interact really well with PICP. That's going to be a game changer for a lot of coaches, because a lot of coaches took PICP, but they never really got enough work with program design. So I'm really excited to bring that. And then we also want to add the business component down the road too. In that, we really want coaches to make more money and be more successful. And personal training is kind of like a relatively new profession. And so with that, some of us as a profession, I think we're a little bit behind. Like blacksmiths have been around for a while, right? Or the car industry has been around for over 100 years now. And so personal training hasn't really gotten too popular. Maybe really like started in the 90s, but really didn't get too popular. It's only been around for about 30 years, like for a lot of people to go into. And I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe in the United States, there's 700,000 personal trainers at any given year. And the average life expectancy, like a career path, is only 10 months. So there's a lot of people that, they are good people. They might want to do this for a career, but they can't figure out how to make money. Even opening up a gym is really hard. I mean, it's really impressive how you did it, Tony, and especially where you were at and in the environment that you were at, and the courage it takes to do that. And you're having a go right now. I mean, that's something that you should be proud of. And I think it's really cool. So yeah.
All right. So from that, we've kind of covered what the five levels of PICP are. The other big thing that Charles had kind of pioneered and began was Biosignature. So way back in the day, Biosignature was basically a week-long course.
Yeah.
How is that basically going to be taught now, considering there's also the competing, I can't remember what the name's been changed to now by Strength Community, but it's a 14 site, Biosignature is a 12 site skin fold analysis. So how is that basically going to be taught or improved upon and whatnot? And how is that also going to tie in with both Poliquin Group? They have their own private label supplement line, but you're also associated with Designs for Sport, Designs for Health. There's ATP Labs, Thorn, Metagenics, Nutridyne. So how is all of this going to kind of tie together?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm like, I have great friends in all of those spaces. I mean, I mean, I'm running like my business too, right? Um, so there's a lot there, but it's really cool. One of the things that I think is important with tying everything together is um, the better everybody else, like everybody can do really well, and the better like one group of people does, that it can enhance everybody else. So so there's a lot of questions there, but in terms specifically with Biosignature, I'll start there. We're going to make, so in our business at Mecca, we'll produce what we call transformation. We'll produce in our 3 locations, we'll produce probably 70 to 75 transformations this year. So a transformation for us is someone that halves their body fat, okay? Or they put on a minimum of 18 pounds of muscle and lose 6% body fat. That's a transformation for us. Okay, that's a really good training result. And what we want to do, and I have our staff is right now, we've grown to there's like 35 trainers and 46 staff total at Mecca right now. And what we've been able to teach is I'm not the one getting all those results. It's other coaches, and we have a really good system. And what I want to do with Biosignature is understand one, how to pinch, 2, the hormonal profile of your client, how to train them off of that hormonal profile, and how to get results. Like at the end of the day, it's about results and improving your client's health and improving your client's athletic performance. And I'm really good at that. I'm really good at helping people get results. We're bringing in 2, I would say, really top end instructors that I'm not going to say their names yet. We'll release that information soon. But we have 2 instructors that have a background in functional medicine that are going to be teaching Biosignature, especially the advanced courses. And then Dr. Eric Serrano is part of the team too. So he's like someone that we really lean on for a lot of this stuff. And I know Charles has leaned on him for a lot of the research with Biosignature in the past. So we have like a great team that we're building. And the entire idea with Biosignature is to help personal trainers and strength coaches produce results. So that's really, really cool. There's a lot of stuff that I wish I could, I'm like in the point, I can't really say exactly yet, but we're working on bringing in other supplement companies that are going to be a part of this too, that are going to, and it should be really, really cool what we're able to do together. So, yeah.
So for anybody who's wondering, who the hell is Eric Serrano, Dr. Eric Serrano? Quick synopsis, basically he has more research articles on his desk than you will read in your lifetime. Yeah. He's presented at nearly every conference there possibly is in terms of functional medicine, strength and conditioning, personal training, fitness. He's one of Dr. Ken Kanakin's best friends, and always probably the most staple presenter of Swiss specific weight training injury specialist symposium, whether it's online, in person. You will have a damn hard time finding him on social media because I don't think he personally has one, but his daughter does. And he also runs small little internships, literally just out of his house. It's intimate, private, where you're going to be surrounded by people who want to be the best, not good, but the best is what people want. And Eric Serrano is very good at that and helping you get to that level as well. He can, if you have athletes that you don't understand what's wrong with them and you've got blood labs that necessarily aren't making sense to you, he'll look at it and be able to figure out what's necessarily wrong within seconds, while it might take you a year to figure it out. So Eric Serrano's like one of the best there is in terms of all of that.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that because there's a really good team that's going to be presenting this, and it's all about helping coaches get better results with their clients. That's it, and their athletes. So
yeah. Why is that not letting me show it? All right, so we'll hit you with a question that I got from somebody was, in terms of courses, so that's what we're on right now, is will rehab focused courses be offered?
Yes.
All right. And then are there going to be internships that are available, and will other experts in respective fields to help round out skill sets such as traditional Chinese medicine be incorporated in?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Like there'll be, we're gonna pimps is gonna be back on the menu. It's gonna be really good. It's gonna be updated. We'd like to, there's some things that me and you have talked about before that could be on the menu too. So a lot of this stuff we're just in the middle of the year right now, and we're trying to roll out Biosig and PICP in a couple different special considerations courses this year. And the following year, we're going to roll out a bunch of stuff. So it'll be pretty cool. So.
Excellent. So that was the biggest main question that had to do with it. Question that I got from somebody. This is where we put Dave a little bit on the hot seat here. Since what happened back in 2013 and the subsequent years and whatnot, in your mind, what would Charles say to you now being involved in the company that he lost?
Sure. Yeah. I hope he'd be really happy with it, like really proud. One of the things that I have financial interest in this, but it's not important for me. That's not important for me. I'm very emotionally invested in this. And where I'm really emotionally invested is I don't ever think Charles got the recognition that he deserved for what he did for our industry. And so me personally, I've just sat back, and every dollar I've ever made is because of Charles. He taught me the basis of everything that we've ever done is his methodology. And there's nothing that like I've really came up with on my own. It's all the work that he did and that I've learned from him. And so that's number one. With that, I've just kind of sat back the last few years, and how he passed away was a bit tough, to be honest. And I've been a bit devastated that his work he hasn't been getting credit for all the things that he really did. And that's been hard for me to take, to be honest, because he made such a big difference in my life. And so many coaches, I mean, just from how to evaluate, to setting up program design, to tempo training, basically the underpinnings of what so many coaches now do and they take for granted. But I just don't feel like Charles his name's getting lost, and I owe like everything in my professional career to him, and he did a lot for me. And I'm really grateful to him, and I hope he'd be very, very happy with where we're taking this. And if he wasn't, there'd be no way I would do it. But I really want him. I want him to get the credit that he should have always gotten. And one of the things I always wanted to do is, it may happen, it may not, but like I'd like that there needs to be some Poliquin gyms out there. There really does, because it's his methodology, it's his training. It's not Dave Lawrence's super training gym or or anything like that. It's everything I've learned in my career. I learned from Charles, and the biggest thing that he did is he gave to so many people. Charles was he was way ahead of his time, and some of the things he said maybe in the early 90s he would have changed his mind. He was wasn't always perfect or always right, but he was I think he was the GOAT by far. He's the best of all time, and he always put himself out on the line to help other coaches produce results. And that's something that's missing right now in our industry, is that information that he shared with so many of us is going by the wayside. And it's like, man, there's a big generational gap right now with coaches who know and coaches who don't. And I feel like I'm in the space right now. It's that I can make a bit of a difference and give back to what Charles did for me to other coaches, and hopefully we can grow the next generation of coaches. And they're proud to be associated with Poliquin. They're proud to be associated with what Charles did and Charles's legacy. So that's like the big reason for me. So I'll always be grateful to him, and he really should be recognized as the one who did so much for so many people.
Yeah. So from that, it's not like from that you're not trying to make a dollar off his name. Like, I'm just going to be blunt with this. Like, some other people have grifted their way into being opportunistic scumbags to make a dollar off of his name. You're actually doing this to put respect on the name.
Yeah, like I know you're really passionate. I wouldn't I don't want to like say anything. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say anything about anybody else. I don't think that's something I would want to get into. But he did so much for me, and he was so good to me. I mean, Tony, he's the first person in my life that ever I did a consult with him. He's like, you know what? After the consult, he walked up, he got up, walked away, and then he looked back. He said, "Hey, keep doing exactly what you're doing. You got a chance to be really good." I was 25 when he said that. And I was like, man, like that made so much a difference to me to hear. He gave me so much confidence when he told me that. And I've never forgot that. And I was like, you know what, if he said that to me, I have to work hard so I don't let him down. And in my professional career, he's made such a big difference for me. And I've always felt like I don't want to let him down, so yeah. So I guess that's where it comes from.
Yeah, so it's actually like that's as good as coming from a good place. So from that there, how are you going to get it so that, because as you said, people have kind of lost that connection. Like us, I don't even consider myself the older group of coaches at this point, but like there's a large group of older coaches at this point. Like, we'll say the pre-split days is what I'll call it.
Sure.
Who fell out of touch with the company Poliquin and went with Charles loyalty-wise. Loyalty was to another company. So how are you kind of going to reconcile, and because a lot of those people own gyms at this point, so how will you reconcile and bring that community, that network back together and make it so that it's kind of like respect on the name that's on your shirt is returned?
Yeah. At the end of the day, you have to provide the best information and the best experience. So people should never come see us if we don't tremendously help them. So that's, at the end of the day, you have to help people get results. So the biggest reasons why I wanted to be part of the business that Charles started, and the reason is because it has the best intellectual property. They have the best information, and there's so much stuff. Like it's crazy when we were going through this. I have all my hands on all this stuff. I'm like, Charles, why don't you teach this stuff? Like, I have all this stuff that he wrote. He wrote so much stuff that never got released. I mean, and we're going to be able to bring that in a really good digestible way that's easy to learn. So I'm not really concerned about, quote unquote, bringing people back in the fold. My obligation is to deliver the best quality information, all of Charles's information, to make it very accessible and very usable right away, so people can get better results. And if we don't do that, people should not come see us. But if we do a good job, the results take care of itself, and we'll grow the business, and we'll grow more coaches, and we'll be a really good use. So at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Like in business, if you have a good product and you care about people and you deliver it and you serve, the success, will come, whatever that means. But we'll grow the business. And if we don't do a good job, we'll be out of business very quickly. So, and that's what it is. And I think Charles would be really disappointed with that. I would feel like I let him down if we don't grow this business back to where he had it. He had it and it was rolling. And that's my obligation to do that to everybody in this company that I get to be partners with and get to work with every day. I owe that obligation to all the coaches that we're going to serve and that we're going to help try to grow and help. And there's a big obligation with this, and it's Charles's underpinning and his legacy and everything he did. So I'm really excited for the opportunity, to be honest. And I'm just excited to be able to serve other coaches and give them what I was given. I was given a lot. I had a really good start, and it was because of what I learned from this company.
So you mentioned one of the big things in what you said there was the intellectual property. Yeah, the IP is absolutely insane with PICP and all the stuff that's involved around that. And like post-split days, the primary thing Charles was teaching was the bioprint, which became metabolic analytics, which was the two additional skin folds, biceps and low back, or as it's affectionately called, the Australian site. But the other main thing he was primarily teaching was always program design at that point. So taking the lessons and whatnot from what you've learned program design wise, how are you going to be able to teach it without potentially infringing upon another intellectual property?
The program design component of the course is all based off of PICP level 1 and level 2. That's like, so yeah, he should have taught it. Like, and there's a lot of there's like sports specific camps that they would teach a lot of things, but yeah, it's really good. So yeah, I mean, I've been using this that methodology since I started my own. I mean, I worked for Poliquin Performance in Chicago, and it's the methodology we used then, and it just got refined a little bit. But it's really, really cool. And then there's a lot of things that we can teach it and clean some things up. It's all Charles's stuff, but just the way it's presented, he would always give you nuggets, but we can give the whole picture much clearer now.
So you mentioned something very briefly there, sport specific camps.
Mm-hmm.
When you and I previously talked offline, you had also mentioned something about that. So are sport specific camps coming? And if you can divulge information, what type of sport specific camps and even who may they be with?
Yeah, so
intentionally.
Right. Man, a lot of really good instructors and a lot of good people that I've known for a long time and you've known for a long time. So we haven't posted them yet because things are still in flux right now. So once we do, we can, but it will be much more accomplished coaches than me. How's that? So some really good coaches.
All right. So everyone who's watched this, I was trying to lead him into saying something that he let slip in conversation with me, but he's not letting it slip tonight. But when you see what it is, you're going to be excited about it because it's like the creme de la creme of the people in that field for those specific things. So I'm just also on the side here have the Poliquin education website up, and currently there's 27 courses on there. There's online courses. One thing that kind of made in my eyes, like the PICP, kind of like that next level above was there was that online component, but you had to also pass the in-person component. But on here, I've noticed that there's PICP 1 and 2 online certification. So is it going to kind of return to that, okay, you do the online tests and stuff, and then you got to go show your chops to know what the fuck you're doing?
Yes, there will definitely be a practical component moving forward. So there's a lot of stuff that just isn't finalized yet, but will be. But a main thing will be coaches will need to come in to like either take the entire course in person or take a portion of the course online, and then a portion of the course they're going to have to come in person now and show their chops in person at like a testing center or one of our training centers that we're going to have. So
Yeah. So from that, where, because right now it also mentions that there's additional potential course locations. So where is the focus for, say, the first year and then the second year on course locations going to be? And how is it kind of going to be kind of structured? Is it going to be you have a regional type of hub where you do like levels 1 to X, or Biosignature 1 and 2 and special considerations at specific places? Or is it just going to be whoever's available will do it there?
So we're going to have probably three hubs in the US, like eventually. So we'll probably be, we'll have our hub right here in Michigan, in Detroit. We have we have 3 gyms here in Michigan, well, Mecca does, but we're going to have a Poliquin Education Center, and it's really cool. We have a 14,000 square foot gym with a massage therapy center, physical therapy, and chiropractic in there. And then we also have the gym, and we train a lot of athletes out of there, and we'll host a lot of events there. And then we have a multimedia room and about a 1,200 square foot in-person learning center that we'll have there, and it doubles as like a multimedia room where we'll shoot videos and stuff like that. So Detroit will be a hub. Right now we're looking at a hub in the South, and we're looking at some place out on the West Coast for actual hubs that are going to be training centers that will do a lot of that's in the US. And then we'd really like to be in Europe, but just, the world's a bit crazy right now. So, and we need to, those are the plans that we'd like to do. But right now we're just looking at getting this thing relaunched and getting things back going. And it's pretty exciting. So
an idea that I just literally just came to me, and because earlier I had asked you about I had mentioned like the Biosignature conference that happened every year. So an idea that just came to me is, yes, there's former Poliquin instructors who now have their own things. There's former instructors who don't necessarily have their own things going on, but are still very competent in what they do. How about a summit? Bring some of these old buggers back together, whether they're in favor of the company or not, whether things were amicable or not. Having a summit where it also highlights the successes that people have had, and it shows younger coaches what is possible with excellent education, continuing education, getting the results, and also constantly upskilling yourself in the eyes of not just as a coach, but in the eyes as a communicator of information.
Yeah, I mean, that would be like a wonderful thing to do. And I think you make a great point. One of the things that absolutely is a bit baffling about our community is the amount of, like, you want to be prideful and you want to be like, hey, I do a good job, but you don't have to do that to build yourself up at the expense of, hey, that guy sucks, that guy sucks. Like, everybody can win. So we'd love to, I'd love to do that. I've never been, for example, I've never been like scared of competition. I think competition is like a great thing, because competition is not necessarily competition. If you just do a good job in what you do, then competition can become collaboration and everybody can win. And my favorite thing is we try to set up our gyms where there's a lot of other gyms, because we know if there's other gyms there, the demographic can support that good training. And that we know if everybody's, training here, all what we need to do is we need to make sure that we deliver the best product, the best service, and the best results. and eventually the cream will always rise to the top. And so, like, I would love to do something like that. I think everybody, it's the really cool thing about the team here at Poliquin is they're all really switched on. There's a lot of dynamic people in the organization, and there's it's already been really cool getting to work with them. And there's so much that we're going to be able to do. And I would love to bring a lot of people back into the fold and make it a win-win. So I think that would be like a great thing to do. And it's a good idea. So
I'm taking IP rights off of that. It's all mine. I own the rights to that now.
yeah. We'll give you the royalties.
Royalties. All right. So, okay. So a question that just came in is, will level 3 be taught at your gym? This is from Heather Klaus in Toronto.
I think level 3 is at our gym or in Chicago this year. I'm not sure. So it's either in Detroit or Chicago.
I think she's just looking for a reason to come visit.
Chicago. Janelle says Chicago. Sweet.
How do you know she said Chicago?
Just
I don't see it.
Typed it on the chat.
Oh, she sent it directly to you. Okay. Yeah. So that'll be good. That it's going to be level 3 will be coming back, and level 4 will be reintroduced. Yeah. So Dave, I'd like to thank you for taking your time out this Friday evening to enlighten us a little bit more as to your goals, ambitions, and the direction that you're trying to take Poliquin Group's education in, and for lack of a better term, put some respect back on the name that it deserves. So again, I'll connect people with your social media channels as well as that of Poliquin Group so that they can look a little bit more into it. Currently, there are about 27 courses available on the website for people to look into.